Hello Leo, welcome to your weekly tarot reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. This is for the week of December 11th through December 17th. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. And we're just going to find out what it is that you need to know this week. What is the most important thing going on? What is the situation? What is the message coming through for you? We've got an Ace of Discs. This is going to be great, I think. This is going to be all about some new activities, some new manifestations, something new coming into your life. Okay, but let's put that into some context using our Dove and Serpent spread. A lot of court cards today. We're going to do our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. We're going to leave that right there. And hopefully that will, tie the reading together or give us the confirmation that we're looking for right at the very end of the video. So please stick around. Okay, so looking at some of these cards, I feel like there are a lot of people involved here in your situation, okay? It kind of feels to me like you're starting something new. Maybe you're starting some kind of a business. Maybe you are looking to finally start turning a profit in something. With the Ace of Discs here, I feel like this could be on many different levels, right? But I feel like there's definitely a physical component, okay? So there's some kind of physical manifestation, again, if it's you're starting a business or your current activities are going to start bringing in the money, right? Maybe you're going to start turning a profit or you're going to see your first kind of paycheck from this. Whatever these things are, I feel like you've planted the seed for this already, okay? With the Ace of Discs, it's kind of like that seed for the rest of the manifestation, right? It's the beginning stages that's going to blossom into this really fruitful thing. And crossing that today, we've got a Two of Cups. So this is kind of telling me that, look, maybe this is a new relationship in the works, okay? Maybe this is just kind of the initial connection that you're making with someone. It could be the initial, just meeting them, or it could be that you're just now getting this idea of, well, maybe there's something there. Maybe there's something going on between us, right? So it's still kind of those beginning stages, all right? Now, I don't know if this is a romantic reading or a professional business-related financial reading just yet. As we go through, maybe it'll kind of, get narrowed down. But this could be either way so far. If this is a business thing, it's definitely something that you feel a really strong connection for. This may be something that you started to do just as a hobby, as a passion, something that you really enjoyed, right, with the Two of Cups there. But now, I think you're going to start to really see that it's going to pay off. It's going to actually bring in a little bit more revenue, stability, a little bit more income than you maybe set out to achieve. Because I don't think it started out as a money-making for-profit business. It was just something that you liked to do, something that you felt very strongly about. Okay? So I'm getting that feeling. Now, this could also go in the relationship direction. Okay? Now, I don't... I'm sure your eyes are rolling, but it could be that. It could be the beginning of some kind of new physical connection that you've made with someone that now you're starting to see that there's some prospects for something larger there. Okay, but like I said, as we go through, we might see it kind of get narrowed down a little bit more. In the recent past, though, I see this Two of Wands, and this is telling me that there was an issue, kind of maybe a power struggle recently. Or this is still the issue that's kind of lingering with you, is this struggle for control. I think maybe you were in a situation where you were perhaps not being taken advantage of, but someone was a little bit controlling, a little bit dominating, okay? And again, that could go professional, could go personal. But it was a situation where you weren't really able to exert your own will, your own authority, make decisions, right? It was something where the dynamic was such that I think that you maybe acquiesced to this other person, or this situation could be, and kind of let them take the lead or let them make the decisions. And I feel like this is still an issue with you. It's still something that you kind of think about, something that's you're still feeling that, even though I think this situation might be over. because it is in the recent past. I feel like maybe you just got out of that sort of controlling situation, and now you're kind of here where you're doing things on your own, or you're looking to manifest this new thing. Okay, either this new relationship that you're now starting to see the potential for with a certain person, or with this business that's going to start kind of bringing in some money for you, but it's something that you've initiated, something that you've started, and it's really based on like this love, this interest, and this connection that you have with this person or with this project. Not sure which it is yet. I kind of am leaning towards it being a person, though, and I don't know how I feel about kind of pigeonholing a reading into the relationship category. But when we see this many court cards, I feel like there are so many other people involved that, it might be more about the relationships than it is about this situation bringing in income, bringing in like financial benefits. Okay, so it still could be in your professional life, but it's more about the interpersonal stuff than it is about how much money is it going to bring in, or the physical connection, right? Because we see a couple of other earth cards here, but they're a little bit more generalized. They're not super specific, all right? And let me get to one of those. First is the Four of Discs. Now, this is at the top of the path of the dove. Okay, so I feel like this is forefront in your mind. This is what you're working toward. This is what you're aspiring toward. And this is the safety, security, and stability in your life. Okay, this is having a really solid structure, a solid four walls, right? A solid foundation, a solid ground beneath your feet. And again, this could be professional or personal, right? This could be a really solid relationship, a stable relationship, a relationship that's very functional, that is very grounded and very supportive of each other, right? Very just supportive of other energies, other things going on, other aspirations. So you're really hoping for this stable thing in your life. And this also could be the professional stability. It could be that you want a reliable job or career or business, right? You want there to be some longevity there. You want there to be a lot of security, a lot of stability there. So I think this Four of Discs is really what you're really trying to establish right now. This is where your energy is focused. What you're is kind of the mountain that you're looking at, right? And you really want a good solid foundation. Now, there's a chance that this reading is about both. It could be that you have this professional situation with this business that's kind of, you're trying to get that established, trying to create the Four of Discs with that. Could be at the same time that you have this prospect for a new romantic relationship, and you're aspiring toward that, having that kind of relationship in your life that's going to contribute to this stability, right? This good foundation, this kind of solid ground beneath you. So I think this is what is kind of forefront on your mind. What you're not really looking for, though, is a lot more struggle or fight or this Five of Wands strife, the hardship, right? And I think this is kind of what you're expecting. This is in the immediate future position of the path of the dove. I think in this case, it's kind of like it's what you're expecting to happen. You're expecting it to be more struggle, more fight, more turmoil. And I think that it doesn't necessarily need to be this, okay? But I think this is what you're ready for. This is what you're expecting. It's kind of one of those you hope for the best, but you're prepared for the worst kind of situations. You know what I mean? Where you don't want this to take place, but you're ready for it if it comes, if there has to be a struggle. And I think, especially coming out of this in your recent past, this kind of power issue, this dynamic where you might have been kind of overruled a lot in the relationship, in the partnership, in the business, professional or personal, whatever. Because of this, I think it really puts you in a readiness position, or maybe a little bit of a fighting stance with this Five of Wands in the future. You're expecting it. You're expecting to have to struggle so that you don't go back to a Two of Wands situation, right? Where you're just being not manipulated, but you're just being kind of overridden with the decision-making process or with the planning, or with the activities in the relationship in general. Now, down below here, underneath it all, I see this air sign person, a Knight of Swords, and I wonder if this is the person that kind of put that sour taste in your mouth with that Two of Wands. If this was the person that you don't really want to go back to, right? That you're kind of not looking for this person anymore, because maybe they are the ones that, again, whether it was professional or personal, they were the person that had this kind of Two of Wands energy, which was just a little bit too domineering, a little bit too controlling, maybe verging on manipulation, but more so just overriding your decisions and just kind of taking charge a little bit too much. Okay, I think that was an air sign person in your life. The news that we have is that there's more air sign people here, and we're gonna jump ahead a little bit and talk about, in this position of your relationships in general, there is another air sign person. Okay, this is the Queen. This is the Queen of Swords. So different than the Knight of Swords, right? The Knight of Swords is that fiery aspect of the suit of swords. So very impulsive, domineering, very a little bit too excited, a little bit too energetic, a little bit too much of that Two of Wands energy with this Knight of Swords. Okay, a little too much of that fire, and that's not what you're looking for. You don't want someone like that. So you want to avoid that fire, and that I think it's important that we see the Five of Wands in the future position too, because you're kind of hoping to avoid this as well. You're hoping to avoid some of this fire. But let's go back to the general energy card when we're switching over to the Path of the Serpent here. And the Tower card, we see that as your general energy down here at the bottom of the Path of the Serpent. And I think your general energy really is trying to overcome this fire energy. Okay? I think that in some ways you've experienced this, I think, from this air sign person. Right? You've experienced a lot of this control or this domineering kind of personality. And as much as you're trying to avoid it, you are also in some ways compensating for that by taking on some of those qualities. You know what I mean? Like, you're becoming a little bit of that in order to protect yourself from that. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm saying that right. But with the Tower energy, I feel like you're both trying to escape that kind of a dynamic. You don't want to be in that kind of a relationship. But at the same time, you're taking on some of that fiery like control and domination in order to safeguard yourself from other people putting that on you. You know what I mean? So you're kind of taking over that role so that nobody else can come into your life and dominate, control things, be that domineering, that impulsive Two of Wands kind of energy. Okay, but I feel like you're really kind of on the verge of this breakthrough, right? With this whatever this manifestation is, going back to the Ace of Discs here. It really is. I mean, this is the opposite of fire, right? This is water and this is earth. So this is like, you're really trying to do things with a compassionate attitude, with a lot of love. I think this is something new in your life. Again, it's either a new person that you're seeing the potential for a romantic relationship with them, or this is the beginning of your own business, your own kind of career path that you're making the decisions on. And it's really based on love and connection and passion, and you're very, connected, very interested in this field, this subject. So it's really the opposite of this fiery. It's not just all cutthroat fighting, all business attitude. It's not this kind of domineering energy. It's done with more compassion and more love, right? And I think you're trying to embrace that passionate side of you, that more intuitive, just more harmonious, calm, peaceful, loving attitude rather than all of this fire. You're trying to get out of the fire out of the fire mode. So it's interesting to see the Tower card here, because I think that this is, yes, this is you trying to break free of this, the power dynamic, right? That fiery energy in your professional and or personal life. You're trying to break free of this fiery energy, this way of doing things. But at the same time, it's going to take a little bit of that fiery energy to get you out of that. So it's almost like you have to be very careful and just use enough of that fiery energy to free yourself, and get to this earth and water mode, and not get kind of sucked back into just that fiery energy, that domineering kind of cutthroat, business attitude, or the control and manipulation in your personal life. It's a very fine line, right? It's a very fine line. But I think that breakthrough is coming, and I think on the other side of that, I think you're going to experience this kind of freedom where you're able to function on this more emotional, soulful, intuitive, loving, compassionate, harmonious plane, rather than in all of this fiery energy. Because I'm starting to see now that, like, it is about your interpersonal relationships, but it's more about the way those relationships are colored, right? Is it all about just this fiery energy, or are you trying to get out of that and get to more of this intuitive, watery, love, harmony kind of energy, right? And I kind of think that's what's going on here. Now, we started to talk about this Queen of Swords in the position of your relationships. Okay, now the air suit, these swords, court cards, these are all about the interpersonal relationships, right? Because it's air, it's a sword. All about the interpersonal relationships in the position of your interpersonal relationships. So I feel like this is really about how you are interacting with other people. That's kind of the issue this week, is understanding how you relate to people, what your interactions are like, what the dynamic is between you and the rest of the world as individuals, as a whole, and with yourself. Okay? And the great thing about this Queen of Swords is that the queens of the suit are the watery aspect, the water energy of the suit. Okay, we said with the Knight of Swords here, this was all about the fiery aspect of those interpersonal relationships. This is about the watery aspect of those interpersonal relationships. Okay, how you communicate, how you share information, how you relate to other people. Now taking on a watery quality. Okay. Now, if we go back to this being a romance thing, I think the person that you have in mind as a potential romantic partner is going to be a very compassionate person, someone who is operating on that water, intuitive, emotional, soulful level, right? Very compassionate. And that, I think, is what attracts you to them. That's how you are able to relate to this person. And that, of course, calls back to that Two of Cups that we see right here at the beginning, kind of saying what this whole thing is really about, is about starting something new, right? Planting the seeds of something new that's going to have these watery aspects rather than this fire. Okay, so underneath it all, we saw that it was really because of this fiery relationship and with the Two of Wands, and you're still kind of in this Five of Wands expectation. You still kind of expect things to go that way. But what you're really aspiring to is this stability, this security, and sometimes this calls for the fiery energy, right? But I think that you're trying to transition out of that fiery energy and have more of these, let's say, water energy focused relationships, right? With the compassion, the intuition, the love, the affection, the harmony, the help, rather than the fire. And now, interesting, in the next position, this is your fears, worries, concerns. This is the heir of fire. This is the Prince of Wands, right? So this is that fire energy, that domination, that control, that excitement, that just passion and lust, and the real, like, strong fiery energy taking on your interpersonal relationships. Okay, so this is the fear and the worry. I think the concern for you is going to be that you're going to fall back into the power dynamic with people, with your life, with situations, with whoever is involved here. whoever the people are in your life, right? Whatever relationships you have. I think that's the worry, that you're really gonna strive for this Two of Cups, this harmony, compassion, this love and affection. And you're really going to try to relate to people on the soul level, on the personal level, the meaningful, the deeply connected, harmonious, peaceful, all the watery qualities, right? But your concern is that you're going to fall back into this power struggle, power dynamic, right? The Prince of Wands is who is wielding this Two of Wands now. And this is, you've experienced this. You know what this feels like for people to do this to you. And your fear is that you're going to become kind of, that person, or fall into that way of relating to other people. Okay? With all the water that we see here, which, honestly, there's not a lot. There's not a lot of water. There's some subtle water that we saw here with the Queen of Swords. Remember, she's the watery aspect of the suit of swords. And then we see, of course, the best water we could have is the Two of Cups here. So this is kind of like the source. Right? So you're trying to really tap in. You're trying to manifest with the Ace of Discs. You're trying to manifest that watery element in your life. Okay? And I see that it's a struggle. I see that it's kind of easy to fall back into the power dynamic, the power struggle, this fiery energy. Which honestly is, of course, sometimes necessary, especially when your ultimate goal is to create this safety, security, and stability in your life. Okay, so it's really a fine line, like I said. So this is your kind of fear, worry. This is what you're kind of struggling against, is falling back into this way of doing things, this dynamic. Okay. Now the final card that we see on the path of the Serpent is this Hierophant card. This is an Earth card. This card is ruled by Venus, okay, so that gives us a clue as to some of it's kind of the dynamic a little bit of this card. But I wonder if this isn't really just saying that you're immersed in this larger group of people, okay? I think this is kind of summarizing all of these relationships, because really we have, we've got 3 court cards here. We've got a lot of cards indicating relationships, and the dynamic between people. Is it going to be a Two of Wands? Is it going to be a Two of Cups kind of dynamic between you and the other person, right? Whoever they are. And all the court cards and stuff. So I really feel like it's a situation involving this larger group of people. So now I'm kind of going back to it being a work thing, or maybe it's in a different organization. Maybe it's in a community organization, a church, a lodge, a temple, an order, some kind of a charitable organization. Could be in your workplace, the company that you're running, the company that you work for. There's a larger group of people there, and I think that is where a lot of this fiery energy is taking place. It could be, again, I'm kind of leaning against the relationship aspect of the reading, right? It could be that there's somebody there that you have your eye on as a potential romantic partner. Okay, that's still a possibility, and that may resonate for some of you in that direction. But I really think that this is about how you are fitting in to this group of people that you're associating with. Right? And the balance between this fiery dynamic, this power struggle, and the balance between the water element, just the love, the harmony, the personal connection, right? The joy in doing the work is then kind of overridden by all of this fiery energy. So you're really trying to manifest more of that water energy, like we said here at the beginning, with that Ace and that Two of Cups. You're trying to manifest that dynamic. Right, that more friendly, harmonious, loving, helpful, affectionate, personal, the connected, the connected dynamic. And so this is the kind of final card here, and this is saying that, it's a matter of you really finding the harmony with this group of people. And I think that a lot of it is going to come from your trust in yourself, right? And I wonder if this confirmation card, this mystery card, isn't going to be like an empress or a high priestess or something to show, maybe the star, to show that it really is about you trusting in yourself and not trying to change yourself, not trying to just completely deny any of this fire energy, but to find the balance between the fire energy and the water energy, right? Because remember, this card rules Taurus. This is an earth card. This is about all of the elements being in harmony, right, on the manifested plane in the physical world. So it's not the denial of the fiery energy, but it's maybe the utilization of that fiery energy under the control of the spiritual energy, the love energy, that Venus energy, right? Venus rules Taurus. Venus is kind of the ruler of this card. So it really is, I think, about following your intuition, trying to find the balance between all of these elements, and trusting in yourself, and really doing it from a place of love and affection for other people, right? You really want that harmony, so what's the best way to go about establishing that harmony? It's not going to be to completely reject any of this fiery energy, because, like we've been saying, the fire has its place, especially in the business world or in, a group dynamic such as this. The fiery energy has its place. But let's look now at this mystery card, this confirmation card. I'm very curious if this is going to be a high priestess, a star, or an empress. Close. This is the Chariot, and this is a card that rules Cancer. Cancer is a water sign, right? And Cancer is ruled by the moon. The moon is the high priestess. So in some sense, yes, this card is about preparing yourself for the worst, like we said here. Hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst, right? This is trying to maintain a steady order, trying to maintain, business as usual, try to keep things on track. You have to do the maintenance work on these relationships in this group of people to keep things functioning, right? This is also about the perfect harmony of all of those elements. So the fire, the water, the air, and the earth perfectly balanced. And that's what we see right there in the center. This is that harmony, that balance. This is that vulnerable spot. This is what really needs to be maintained. It's like the Chariot will take you thousands of miles. You have to keep it maintained. You have to keep it polished and oiled. You have to keep your sphinxes fed and groomed, right? Everything needs to be maintained and well taken care of. And this situation can take you very, very far in life. It's about finding the harmony, finding the balance. Okay. And again, because this is the Cancer card, this is ruled by the moon, it needs to be under the oversight of your intuition, your higher self, your spirit guides, your guardian angel, right? Your deity, whatever your higher power is, if it's your true self, if it's your higher mind, super ego, whatever. It needs to be under the guidance of that lunar influence, that moon, that intuition. Okay? And I think that's very important, and I also think that because this is Cancer and this is a water card, I think it's right for you to incorporate more of this water, like we've been talking about, manifesting this water energy. I think that is important. Maybe there's been too much of an abundance of this fire energy. You've got to manifest some of this water to establish that balance. And that is the proper mixture of elements, the proper balance and harmony of elements, so that this Chariot can really take you very, very far in your life, okay? And this is kind of preparing for the worst, safeguarding yourself as well. This is preparing to use your fire energy when you need it, but not to rely solely on that, and not to let that fiery energy color every relationship that you have. Strive for more of that balance, that water, air balance in your interpersonal relationships, the way that you're connecting with other people. Try to manifest some of that water energy in those relationships. Okay. Anyway, this was a very interesting read. I thank you so much for joining me today, for letting me read for you. We're going to take a look in the extended just for a couple extra cards. This was your weekly tarot reading for December 11th through December 17th on Dove and Serpent Tarot.